Today I'm going to show you how to make a Greek salad, a super fresh salad that's so vibrant and perfect for summer that it reminds me of my holidays. Now I'm going to try and keep it as authentic as possible, and the beauty of this dish is that there's no cooking involved. It is simply a dish of assembly. So without further ado, here's everything you're going to need. So I'll be starting my salad with 5 ripe tomatoes. You want them as ripe as you can possibly get them, and then you want to keep them at room temperature, because once they've been in the fridge and they're cold, it dulls down the sweetness and the flavour in them. So try and keep them at room temperature before you make your salad. And I'm going to be assembling my salad in the bowl that I'll be serving it in. So what I'm going to do next is cut the tomatoes quite randomly into large chunks, and I'm going to do that over the bowl so the bowl can collect any of the tomato juices that are going to come out. Then I'm going to lightly season the tomatoes, and that will just help draw out any of the juices as well, which will ultimately turn into some of the dressing for this salad. Once you've seasoned it, set it to one side and leave the salt to do the work while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. Next, I've got 1 cucumber, and I'm going to peel some strips off the skin, leaving a little bit of skin in between. And this is mainly for presentation. It's optional, you don't have to do this at all. And then I'll cut the cucumber in half and cut it into nice 1/2 centimetre slices. Next, we've got 1 medium red onion, and I'm going to peel it and then cut that into nice thin red onion rings. You could also cut it into half rings if you want, just cut the onion in half and then it's a bit easier to slice. You probably won't need the full onion, just roughly around half of it will do. You can slice it with a knife like I am, or if you want super thin slices you can use a mandolin. You could also add some nice slices of green bell pepper into this if you want, but I'm not adding it today. Some Greek salads have it, some don't. It really depends on region or personal preference. So our tomatoes have been sitting there for about 10 minutes now with the salt, and as you can see, all those lovely tomato juices there are starting to come out, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want, because that is going to add the acidity to the dressing when we add olive oil later on. Now, some regions add a splash of red wine vinegar. It adds an extra tanginess, and I'm going to do that myself today. That's more common in the north of Greece, but some purely rely on this tomato juice to create the dressing. So that's basically all of the prep done. So all we have to do now is assemble the salad. And first of all, I'm going to add the cucumbers into the bowl with the tomatoes, and then the onions. And I'll just give it a light mix through. I don't want to over mix this, just enough for everything to say hello to each other. And then I'm going to give it a light season with salt and ground black pepper. The ground black pepper again is optional, it depends whether you like it or not. And then I'm going to scatter it with some olives. I'm using Kalamata olives for this, which is more traditional, but you can use any olives that you can get hold of. And then a drizzle of red wine vinegar. Like I said before, this is optional, you don't have to add this, but it does add a nice tanginess to the salad. And then for one of the most important ingredients, a nice good quality extra virgin olive oil. And you can be quite generous with this because it's going to add a beautiful peppery flavour. And it's also the main dressing for this salad. Then I'm going to give it a sprinkle with dried oregano, reasonably generously, but not enough to overpower the dish. Finally, you can top it with a block of feta cheese, drizzle it with a bit more extra virgin olive oil, and then sprinkle it with a bit more dried oregano. And of course, don't forget to serve it with some good crusty bread to mop up all of that beautiful dressing. You'll notice that I didn't mix all that dressing through when I was assembling the salad, and that's because this is a salad for sharing. So when everyone's digging in with the forks, all of that flavour will mix around and it'll become absolutely beautiful. But there we go, there's my Greek salad. Super simple, so fresh, perfect for a hot day. I hope you try this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.